Okay. Good morning. It's Thursday. It's Friday, October 14th. This is Jerry the G-Man, the entertainer. I want to talk about Will Rogers today. Will Rogers was born November the 4th, 1879, died August the 15th, 1935 in a plane crash. Truth be told, 60-something thousand people came to his funeral. He was one of the most beloved Americans of all time. He and Shirley Temple provided humor and entertainment during the Depression and at the lowest point in America's history. And they helped with their humor and their entertainment to get us through the Depression, those depressed times of prohibition and financial disaster. And that was a long time ago, a long time ago. I want to tell a backstory about Will. Will always chewed gum, and people in the modern world would find that disrespectful if you entertained people and you were chewing gum at the time. They would think it would be rude. But back in Will's time, it was okay. It was accepted because he was Will Rogers. And people pretty much accepted everything about Will Rogers because Will Rogers, I wrote some stuff down here. Will Rogers spoke for the little man. He spoke the words that the little man was thinking in a way that the little man could understand. His newspaper columns, if the little man couldn't understand because he couldn't read and write, he could hear Will on the radio because he could listen. He could understand what Will was saying, and it was what he was thinking. So he told his stories and spread his humor throughout the world in the style of every man. And that was his popularity and why he was so beloved by the world. And I won't bore you with all the details. You can go on the internet and look at Will Rogers' biography. And there's a gazillion things on the internet about Will Rogers. I've spent 6 months researching him for a one-man play that I'm writing and I'm going to perform. He was just a great American. Let's tell the story, though. Chewing gum. Why did he chew gum? Well, he traveled the vaudeville circuit with the Ziegfeld Follies and other Wild West shows back in the early part of the 20th century. And baseball players at that time traveled the same circuit across the country as vaudeville performers. And Will would meet these people in bars and restaurants, and they'd come to see his show, and he would go to see their games, et cetera, et cetera. And baseball players back then, they chewed tobacco and they chewed gum. And Will hung out with these guys. And so he started to chew gum, and he incorporated it into his lifestyle, and he chewed gum all the time. When he performed, he was always chewing gum and wearing a hat. And so that's the backstory of how Will got to chew gum. He learned it from the baseball players, and he adapted it into his act. And that's that story. And there'll be a lot more here in future videos regarding Will Rogers, because he was a man for all times, a man for all seasons, the great Will Rogers. Take a few moments some afternoon when you're just killing time and delve into his history. You'll be amazed. Have a great day. In fact, have an inspiring day.